In this video, I want to go over how to install a Tikka T3 barreled action into our Tikka Ultradyne UD chassis. So this is probably how you'll get your Tikka T3 from the factory or from the store in the factory stock. The first thing you'll want to do is make sure your chamber is clear. Go ahead and remove your bolt. So get that out. And then you'll want to take your factory stock off your barreled action. So go ahead and flip it over. For video's sake, I have already removed my action screws from this specific rifle, but they're located in front of the mag well and behind the trigger guard. And so take those out, and your factory stock will just pop right off your barreled action. So you can go ahead and set that to the side, and then it'll be time to unbox your UD chassis. So your chassis will come from us just like this, and there will be a baggie of installation hardware included in the packaging. So I'll go ahead and dump all that out and show you guys what's included. There will be a small set screw and a small L key for that set screw, and that will be for the threaded hole in the rear of the chassis. You won't need that for the barreled action installation. That'll be for timing your buttstock whenever you thread your buttstock in, whenever you install a buttstock into the chassis. So we'll set that to the side. The other hardware are your action screws, and so for these you'll need a 3/16 hex drive Allen key, and so I have mine on a torque wrench here because we'll want to torque spec our action screws. So the front one will be the front action screw, and the rear one will be our rear action screw that goes behind the trigger well, which I'll show you here in a minute. And then we have our recoil lug, and so on Tikkas, the recoil lug indexes in the front of the action in front of the mag well, and we have a pocket machined into our Tikka chassis right here that you'll set that in, and that is what the action beds up against. And then the final thing is our L key for our magazine adjustment, and so we have a sliding tab in our magazine latch, and so you just loosen that and you can slide the tab up and down to set your magazine height once you start feeding rounds. So now that it's time to install the barreled action into the chassis, we'll go ahead and set our recoil lug into our pocket. So it just sets in there like that. We'll take our barreled action. You can line up your trigger into the trigger well, and then the recoil lug just sits in there as well. You can flip it upside down and then take your action screws. The front one is the smaller one, the rear word is the longer one, and then you take your torque wrench and go ahead and just go get those action screws hand tight. You don't want to torque them down all the way yet. And the reason is we want to stand our barreled action up and make sure that it is completely seated up against that recoil lug before we completely torque down our action screws. So now I have my torque wrench set to 55 inch-pounds. We recommend 55 to 60 inch-pounds. And then I'll go ahead and torque down my action screws. So you can hear that audible beep once I get to my torque. So now I know my action screws are properly torqued down. Now all I have to do is install a buttstock and install a grip, and you're ready to start shooting.